Welcome to the deep dive. Ever notice how sometimes the person talking the loudest maybe doesn't know the most?
Huh. Yeah, it happens.
Well, today we're diving into exactly that, the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Mm.
We're going to look at why some people, especially when they're starting out, really overestimate their skills.
Mhm. Mm.
And based on our source material, our mission is to, understand it better and maybe figure out how we can avoid falling into that trap ourselves.
Yeah, and what's really interesting right off the bat is this idea from the text, basically. The less you know, the more confident you feel.
It sounds completely backwards, doesn't it?
It really does, but it's a well-documented psychological thing. The less knowledge, the more self-assuredness, strangely enough.
Okay, so let's try and unpack that. Our
Hmm.
source mentioned something about lacking metacognitive skills. What's that about?
Right, metacognition. It's essentially thinking about your own thinking or, knowing what you know and what you don't know.
Oh.
And the point is, if you're a beginner, you often don't just lack the knowledge of the subject, you also lack the skill to accurately judge your level of knowledge.
So you can't see how much you're missing. You're kind of blind to your own incompetence.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. The text highlights this at the initial stage. We often do not see all the nuances. We do not realize how much more there is to learn.
And that creates this illusion of confidence
Right.
because it all seems simpler.
Precisely. You haven't hit the really complex stuff yet, so you think, oh, I've got this.
That makes a lot of sense. And the source also brought up the social environment, didn't it? Like who you're around matters.
Oh, definitely. Big time. If you're in a group where, frankly, nobody really knows what they're doing,
Everyone's a beginner.
yeah, then your own slightly shaky understanding can feel pretty solid. There's no expert benchmark to compare yourself against.
So everyone kind of reinforces each other's overconfidence.
That's the idea. The text puts it like, when a person finds themselves in a group where the others are also not experts, their opinion becomes more confident because there is no one to compare their knowledge with.
Wow. Okay, so it's easy to see how that could happen. But what are the actual, negative consequences of this? Of being overly confident when you don't know much?
Well, the main one our source points to is pretty significant. It can seriously get in the way of actually learning. It can hinder development.
How so?
Think about it. If you're convinced you already know it all or know enough, why would you seek out more information? Why listen to feedback?
Right. You wouldn't be open to learning or admitting you're wrong.
Exactly. It basically stunts your growth in that area. You get stuck at that beginner level thinking you're much further along.
Hmm. Okay, but it's not like a permanent state, is it?
Yeah.
The source suggests this changes as you learn more.
Yes. Thankfully, that's the other side of the curve, so to speak. As someone genuinely starts to learn more, delves deeper.
They start seeing the nuances.
Precisely. They begin to grasp the real complexity of the subject. And interestingly, their confidence often decreases at this point.
So getting smarter makes you feel less sure of yourself. Initially.
In a way, yes. You start to realize the vastness of what you don't know. You appreciate the subtleties. It's almost like true expertise comes with a certain humility.
That's fascinating. So the real key then, according to our source, seems to be self-awareness, recognizing your limits.
Absolutely. The text really emphasizes developing that awareness of your limitations and, crucially, being ready to learn. That willingness is key.
That's how you avoid getting stuck in that initial peak of overconfidence.
Right, and it ties into the main takeaway.
Mhm.
Real earned confidence isn't about pretending you know everything.
It's about knowing your strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. The source wraps it up nicely. True confidence comes through understanding your weaknesses and strengths. It's about that honest, balanced self-assessment. Not inflated, not overly modest, just accurate.
Okay, that's a really powerful idea. So for everyone listening, maybe take a moment to think. Is there an area in your life, maybe something you've just started, where the Dunning-Kruger effect might be playing a role?
Where might that beginner's confidence be a little inflated?
Yeah. And perhaps what's just one small thing you could do, maybe even today, to get a slightly more realistic picture of where you actually stand? Something to chew on. That's our deep dive for today.